friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tammy Ernest and I'm a Longarm quilter, and here on my channel I like to share customer finishes as well as my own personal projects. So today is February 21st. It's a bright sunny day here in Indiana. We have really been enjoying some nice weather. It's not typical for Indiana, but so there may be a major snowstorm coming because you got to level out that average there, but we've been enjoying the sunshine. It's been a real pleasure. So I've got a nice bright sunny day to be filming today. And so what's going on since the last week? We had our Valentine's celebration last Tuesday night, and that was a lot of fun. And then over the weekend, I decided to tackle a pretty big project. In this room here, we had carpet over the floor, and we've lived in this house 23 years, and it's a 100-year-old farmhouse, and we've always had the same carpet in this room. And I decided over this past weekend, I was trying to take some pictures in here of some quilts, and I just was not happy with the floor, and I just decided it was time to pull up the carpet in here. And lo and behold, when we pulled up the carpet, I knew there was wood floor underneath it, but it's a beautiful wood floor, and there was no patching at all in any of the wood. It's probably, I would say, a medium plank. It's not skinny, it's not the wide, but just a beautiful floor. So it may change the sound in this room some, and I'll have to adjust that as I go on with future videos. But that was a major project, moving everything around and getting it back in place. And I'll insert a picture here so that you can see the flooring and what we discovered underneath there. So that was a lot of fun, but that was a major project. I was just glad that it wasn't a major project that then started other repair jobs. And this was one of those that I was able to pull that up and get it back in order in one day, but it took quite a bit of time. We have one other floor room with carpeting that I may tackle real soon. I know some of the others have already been done prior to us owning the house, where the whole floor was redone. I know there's nothing underneath those, but our living room floor may have a pretty nice wood floor too that I'd be really excited to get uncovered soon. So that may be in my future projects, near future projects. So the other thing that I have tackled this week, well, before that, on Saturday, our boys all got together, my husband, our sons, our grandsons, our son-in-law, they all piled in a vehicle and drove to Louisville for the farm show. And so that was a good trip for them, a nice long day trip. It's about a 3-hour trip from here. And so they left early Saturday morning and headed out for that, but that left the girls and I for a shopping day. And so that was so much fun. We started out with some coffee. I did have some clients to meet at a quilt store early Saturday morning, but it was probably a good thing because it got us out of the house. Otherwise, we would have been sitting here talking for a long time. So we got ready early and headed to the quilt store to meet some clients, and then got our coffee. That was wonderful, and then headed out to do some shopping. So I want to show you some of the finds that I discovered at an antique store. We always like to go into antique stores. My girls are looking for different things than I am. I'm always looking for sewing related items. But again, I found one of these great big spools. And I should have brought the one that I showed last week because it's quite a bit smaller. I mean, it's probably this tall and a lot skinnier than this one is. This is a chunk of one, but just a nice wood spool, very big. I may use this in my sewing room. I may use it on our mantle. Not really mantle, we don't have a fireplace, but I have a large beam in our living room just behind the couch that we decorate with, and this would be a nice piece to have on there and then to use it as display for some other things. I also found a couple of smaller spools. Now these have what I assume is mohair on them, and I know some of you may hate me for this, but I don't think I'm going to keep that on there. I really think I'm going to cut that off of there. I just don't like the color of it. I don't like the feel of it. But I got two of these that so are a lot smaller, so you can see in size comparison, a lot smaller but I just thought they were really cute. And the antique store we were at was very reasonably priced. I don't spend a lot of, I'm not buying antiques for the repurpose value or anything like that. I am buying them because they look cute in my house. And they're unique and don't look like everybody else's, you know, in a sense. I mean, other people decorate with these things too, but that's the reason I do it. And I just thought they were really cute. So then you know also that I'm always on the lookout for enamel pans, and I found a couple more. I keep thinking I have enough, I don't need any more. And I found this one. This is a white one with a black rim, but this is a smaller pan. I would say, if I was guessing, maybe maybe a 6x8 or something like that. So it's not a huge one. I like some smaller ones like these. I have quite a few bigger ones, but I like the size of this one. So I picked that up as well. And then I found one other. So they're about the same size, length and width, but then this one was a lot taller. So it's probably a good 4 inches tall. So the same, about 6x8, but you know, 4 inches. It looks like an oversized bread pan is what it looks like to me. And this one was white. This is actually a blue trim, even though in the lighting it kind of looks black. So always fun, always fun. And really, again, these were very reasonably priced. I'm going to say this was $8 or something. I have seen enamel pans, especially if you're going to a craft fair or something like that, that they'll have them priced $25 or more even. And I know some of that has to do with the condition. I prefer the little bit of a rusty look, you know, a little bit of rust in the corner. I think that adds character and shows that it was used and not just set on a shelf by somebody. So I enjoy that. So those were my finds over the weekend. And then another thing that I had to work on this week, I've talked to you several times about my 2023 UFO challenge, and I developed this for our Quilt Guild, and tonight is Quilt Guild meeting, so I had to finish my February UFO for this week. And so I will put a link for this month, sorry about that. I will put a link for this in the description down below. You're welcome to download this and use it. So each month there's a different prompt of the type of UFO you're to finish for that month. And I have mine filled out through about July, and I'm hoping to finish these others, but I know at least these. So if you're unaware, UFO stands for unfinished object. So if you have started a project in the past and it's still sitting on a shelf or under your bed or in a basket, it's time to pull it out, see which category you can fit it into, and then work on that and finish it up by that month. So the challenge for my Quilt Guild is, for this month they have to have their smallest UFO finished. And so I worked on mine, and you can see it right back here. So this is a truck series, pillow series that Stacy West of Buttermilk Basin had done several years ago. And I got the first 2 patterns. I got the January pattern, finished it right away, and we pull it out every year to decorate with. And this one, I had the February pattern, and it's probably been 2 years, and I hadn't finished it. Sorry for that sunshine right there. So this is what I worked on. This is a UFO, and this is such a cute pattern. So these are wools, and I had the kit, so not just the pattern itself, but the wools that came along with it, and it includes, the kit itself includes this, the little wooden quilt block as well, all the material, everything you need except the stuffing is included in the quilt. Well, take that back, and the little buttons right here on the tires. So these were Lori Holt buttons that I had, and I thought they were perfect. They had, I just like the little bit of flowery on there. I just thought that was cute. So I thought that was real fun. The other fun part about this truck is these hearts actually slide into this. So you line the pocket with fabric before stitching it down so that part doesn't, so you can have a little pocket there, and then you create these little hearts. So you can see my little design on there. The green I actually did on my sewing machine. I have some decorative stitches and I did that, but then the red are little French knots. And then once that was finished, then I bound that to, or fused it to another piece of wool, and then just did, I just really did a slip stitch all around the edge. They said for a buttonhole stitch, buttonhole or blanket stitch, probably a blanket stitch. I kind of liked the little rough edge that this created. This one is patchwork. I thought these were really cute. I may actually use the pattern and make these again, just so that I can have them sitting in other little spots. We have a tray that sits on our footstool in the living room that I could make some of those and put them in. And this one was real simple. Again, I just did that decorative stitch on my sewing machine. Just went around and then fused it to another piece of wool. And there was wool. The wool for these was all included in there, even for the backing ones. So the only thing that I added personally were the buttons and the stuffing for the inside and the fabric that lined that. And then I use that same decorative stitch on the truck bed. These they give you the pattern, but this is done freehand. I just did back stitch with those. I was so excited, so really cute. So I told you this story about how I ended up with 2 of these patterns, and if you want to know that story, I'll let you go back and look at a future video. But I ended up with 2 of these patterns. So what I am going to do is the second one. The second one is not the kit. It is only the pattern itself. But I'm going to offer this as a giveaway this month, being February, Love Month. So this pattern, you can make that right there. You just need to add your own wools in there. And I believe you can purchase the little wooden quilt square from Buttermilk Basin as well. But so what I want you to do to enter the giveaway is put truck in the comments below. So 2 things: you do need to be a subscriber of my channel, and also enter your name on my email list as well. So what that would do is you would receive my Friday emails, and just to see what projects I'm working on. And I don't do a lot of emails out, usually 1 a week. Maybe if I'm running a special, I'll do an extra one. But just on Fridays, I send out a newsletter, basically telling people about the projects that are going on. I always do a spotlight about around the farmhouse, things that are going on here at the farm. But if you would like to enter to win this giveaway, so you put truck in the comment, make sure you're a subscriber, and you add your name to my email list, and that link will be down below as well. So, and then I'll announce that next week who wins that. And one more thing, if you could be within the United States, I would appreciate that as well. All right, so let's move on to client quilts for this week. I've had several that have already gone home, so I'll just have to insert some pictures. First of all, let me tell you about Kathy's quilt. This was a king size. Yeah, it was a king size quilt that she and another grandmother had made many years ago. At least they had started it many years ago when their grandchildren got married. And you'll notice on the quilt that there are 5-inch blocks. I believe they're about 5 inches of where everyone that attended the wedding or showers, I don't know how all they did it, but all these personal wishes were written down for the new couple, and those were all written on these fabric squares. And so the grandmas took these fabric squares and then made it into a large quilt. So let me insert a picture and then we'll talk about it some more. Okay, so a very beautiful quilt. She said that the bedroom that this quilt will go in will have the white shiplap, and I mean, it'll just go perfect. So all in grays, and then you have the blocks with the signatures and with the well wishes on it. We did this, the pantograph we chose was Hammersmith, and I chose that Kathy pretty much gave me leeway, whatever I wanted to do. I gave her some suggestions. We went through my booklet and we kind of picked out some, but ultimately went with the Hammersmith. I kind of like the, couple reasons. I kind of think this mimicked almost the double wedding ring quilt, you know, from years ago. Kind of has that shape to it, and I like that pantograph for that. I also didn't want to do something too tight that would cover up too much of the words. So with this design, it's fairly open. I left it fairly big, I mean in proportion to the squares that are there. But I gave it nice coverage, will hold it together nicely, and just looked really, really good on it. And then we used a light gray thread to kind of blend with everything. And just absolutely love this quilt. It was a joy to work on. Kathy actually used to own a quilt store many years ago and is just now getting back into quilting after all these years. So I'll be excited to see some of her newer projects that she's going to work on, and so happy to be working with her now. Second one that also went home was from Jessica, and Jessica is only the second quilt I've done for Jessica, and she's just a marvelous artist in herself. And so let me insert a picture of her quilt here. So this one was all cats. Could you tell that? Was that pretty cool? So I did the faraway shot so that you could see all the pretty kitties that were there and all those colors. So for this quilt, Jessica and I decided on the diagonal plaid pantograph. Because the quilt itself was so busy, a lot of movement, a lot of busyness in the fabrics and then the colors, we just went with a simple diagonal plaid. And I did that in a darker gray thread to kind of blend with everything, and she was thrilled with that. So those two quilts have already gone back home. That's who I was meeting with over the weekend, and so those are back to them, and they are working on those bindings. So then my next one, we've got 3 more here to discuss. Is that, yeah, 3 more quilts here today. And so this next one is a new client. Is actually one of my YouTube subscribers, and she sent a quilt to me. This is a large wall hanging, and let me show it to you, and then we will discuss it. Okay, so this pattern is Twisted Geese by Zen Chic, and you guys know I am loving everything I'm seeing from her. Just absolutely loving everything I'm seeing. Let me twist you around just a tad bit here. That sun keeps, as the later gets, it's moving and kind of starting to creep across my face there. All right, so Twisted Geese. So this is one of those, you know, you really have to see from a distance to get the whole pattern. Really cute, really, really cute. So Cheryl says that she used some basic gray by Moda, some Grunge Basics, some burlap print, and Marcia Durst is the heat wave print. So all different fabrics in here. So you can get some close up of those. These are just right up my alley. I love wording. This one, is that not cute? Numbers. Did you guys play with those stamps when you were kids? The ones you could roll the date on them and stamp with them. So what else? There's even some of this music print. My daughter and I have just seen this print recently. We're going to use that on a wedding quilt that I'm working on for her use it as the backing because her and her husband are music people. All right, so let me show you some of these others. The numbers and the wording. I like that one too. So just really cute fabrics. And then I like the addition of the rust color, that just the pop of color in there. Really like this one. So let's talk about the pantograph. So Cheryl had asked, so she sent the quilt to me in the mail and then said, can we discuss pantographs? So once I saw the quilt, I was able to suggest some things to her. I went, first suggested some things, and then Cheryl came back and said, I was really hoping for some feathers or some movement to give those flying geese some movement. Perfect, absolutely. I always like to get your input on what you're thinking when you see a quilt, because I can come at it from a totally different angle. I want to know what you are hoping for. And so when she said that message, then absolutely I sent her 3 or 4 other ones, and she chose this one. This one is from My Creative Stitches, and it's called Rhapsody Feather. So on My Creative Stitches, they have this whole line of Rhapsody, and then they do different things within that design. And so let me explain that. So this basic swirl is what's called Rhapsody, and then they add this feather in, and then they call this one the Rhapsody Feather. So you might have a Rhapsody Pumpkin, you might have a Rhapsody whatever, and they just put different design, they change this design right there, but the rest of the swirls is all the same. So this is really cute. I love that feather. I can't tell you how long I practiced when I had my hand-guided machine to get feathers perfect. And then I look at this and look, oh, isn't that just perfect? It's just perfect. Perfect roundness. Perfect coming together there. So then on the back, we just have a creamy muslin. And we used a cream color thread so that it all blends in really nice and blends in with the top. As you can see, got little fuzz balls, different spots. So I will be putting this into the mail this afternoon, and it'll be going back to Cheryl, and then she'll be working on the binding. Isn't that pretty? Just so pretty. Really like that. So Cheryl, you did a very nice job. Can't wait for you to get this back so that you can get it hung up and you can be enjoying it yourself. So let me adjust this sunshine here. So a couple other quilts that we'll go over. These are Judy's quilts. And this first one is a pretty flannel. Isn't that so pretty? So cute. Just so cute. Now I'll need to get with Judy and ask her the pattern. I have seen this same pattern using foundation paper piecing, and that's not what this is, because there's no paper at all on the back. So I'll need to get with her and ask her what the pattern was that she used for this. But it's all flannels. And just really cute girl prints. I like all the different colors. And then she has the 2 different borders on it, the white with the colored flowers, and then the pink polka dot. Just really cute. She did cornerstones, and the cornerstones on the corners actually match the backing fabric. So you can see the pantograph there. This one is called, let me look real quick, Flower Child. And this one is, you can find this one through Urban Elements. Really cute. Like that. So just got the inspiration from those flowers right there. And sent that to her and said, Judy, I think this one will look great. And she agreed. And we did use a pink thread. And that one, it's, you know, with all the different colored fabrics, it's really hard to tell that it's even pink. Kind of looks like a, it's a pale pink. The pink is actually called Pink Lemonade. It's an omni thread. Just really cute. So you can see the pantograph actually stitches out that way. So you can see how it does one flower, goes down and does this flower, back up and does this one. So almost, you know, a zigzag, but with curves. I like that. So really cute. Just really, really cute. And the back is flannel as well. Pink. Just beautiful. So soft and nice. And then I have a second one from Judy. And you're gonna love this one too. Isn't that cute? Oh my, we're gonna have to look at each one of those pandas up close. So darn cute. So this is an Elizabeth Hartman. Is that Elizabeth Hartman pattern? And I'm sure you've seen so many of her designs. So there's Panda 1. Look at his plaid shirt there. Is that not cute? And then Panda 2. He has the black and white and gray. Yeah, gray or light blue plaid there. Panda number 3. Oh, just adorable. Just adorable. And then Panda number 4. And obviously, if you've seen these patterns, you know you can make them as many pandas as you want. Judy said this is for a foster family who's taken in a new baby, and so this will be for him. Just so cute. Actually, I had this before I quilted it. I had it hanging in my doorway, you know, on my door, so I could get some ideas of pantograph. It was one of those things I just wanted to let it sit for a while. I'd looked at some others online and was kind of getting some ideas of what design might look good, and so I just had it hanging up there. And my daughter was telling me last night, she says, I heard Steven come upstairs the other day. Steven's our youngest. Steven is 16, but he has Down syndrome, and just a pleasure to have around. And but he doesn't get excited about quilts very much, you know. And she said she heard him come up the stairs and stop in my doorway and point to the quilt and say, "Ooh, I like that." So that was so cute to know. He doesn't get overly excited about my quilting very much, so that was kind of fun to know that he thought these pandas were cute. All right, so then you can see the design that I chose. This one is called Square Root, and who did I get? This is from My Creative Stitches as well. And Judy likes for me to do some modern things on quilts like this. We've done the dogs and sweaters she has done as well. That one was really cute. And I saw this one and I thought that would go very well. Let's see, the lighting is a little better on this side. So called Square Root. So very angular. It has one open square. Let me show the back. Maybe I can see it a little bit better there without their faces there. So the way it stitches out, it leaves one, you know, like a little open block here, which is a neat design element. You know, it kind of draws your eyes to those without it just being all of the lines. A very easy stitch out and nest really well together. And we used a light gray thread, so it blended with everything on the front and with the back, even on their white faces. You know, it blends right in there. Looks really good. Looks really good. I went ahead and did the binding on this one for Judy as well. She'll be gifting this pretty soon, so she asked if I could, I got some threads to trim up there. She asked if I could go ahead and finish the binding. So we did that as well. It's so cute. Adorable. The new patterns they have these days are just incredible. So really, really cute. All right. So those are all my customer finishes for this week. And as you can tell, I'm a little behind on my quilt-alongs from the So Scrappy spools. I need to get those blocks done for February here, and my calico garden. So I'm hoping, got a little sidetracked this week between Valentine's Day one night and then, you know, tearing the carpet out of this room another whole day, and then shopping with my girls another whole day. So I need to get caught up on some of my personal sewing, and can't wait to share those things with you soon as well. And one last thing today, I hope you'll join my email list. As I mentioned earlier, I'll put a link for that down in the description below. And with that email, all of that just gets you access to my weekly newsletter that comes out on Friday evenings, where I share some of these same customer finishes, and I share my personal projects, and I always share about something going on around the farmhouse that week. I'll also just different things. The newsletter itself is called In, On, and Around. So sometimes it's in the sewing room, sometimes it's in the mail, sometimes it's in the news or in the quilting community, or I'll do on the Longarm or on my cutting board, all those things. It just gives me options to approach all those subjects. So I hope you'll join my email list. And as always, if you're needing Longarm quilting services, I hope you'll head over to my website, tammyernestquilting.com. And there you can find the instructions. You can download those for how to get your quilt to me and how to prep the top. And I would look forward to seeing what you're working on, and hope you have a great week.